For this afternoon and tonight, a significant winter storm, including heavy snow with only retreating snow.
Hello and welcome to the SnowBrains podcast, where it's my job to interview the most intelligent people in the snow sports industry and pass their fascinating knowledge on to you, our listeners. I'm your host, Miles Clark. I'm a professional free skier, a mountain guide, an Alaska heli ski guide, UC Berkeley molecular cell biology graduate, the founder and CEO of SnowBrains, and the wind down here in Patagonia is no joke. Yesterday on a hike, it hit so hard it actually blew me over. Like full send, unplanned acrobatics. One monster gust caught me off guard, sent me stumbling backwards, and I tripped over this low, spiky bush that had been quietly plotting my demise. The next thing I know, I'm mid-tumble, rolling over the bush like a slow-motion crash dummy, and for a brief and glorious moment, the only parts of me touching the earth were my head, neck, and shoulders, all completely buried in that evil shrub. I ended up lying there on my side, half impaired, half laughing, completely humbled by the win. Patagonia 1, me 0. My guest today is Madison Rose Ostergren, a ski racer turned big mountain charger, redefining what it means to ski with style, power, and soul. She starred in Warren Miller films, TGR films, she drops massive Teton lines, and she's built a life that blends art, grit, and fearless creativity. This is SnowBrains, and today we're diving into the mind of one of skiing's most eclectic personalities, Madison Rose. Hello, Madison. Welcome to the show. Thank you very, very much for being here. How are you?
I'm good. I'm stoked to be on the show.
Nice. We're stoked to have you. When did you ski last?
Oh, golly. Well, it was this summer. Jim Ryan and I went and skied a lot of summer couloir missions here in the Tetons. I live in Jackson Hole, and so we found the snow in the summer. I didn't end up going down south at all this summer, which is totally fine. We just found turns at home, so it was pretty fun.
That's perfect. How many days did you ski last winter?
Dude, I don't count. I just go skiing every single day unless I'm sick or I really need a rest day, and then I take a rest day. But most days in the winter, I'm out there.
How many days would you guess you got?
Oh, dude, I don't know. I wish I knew. I'm trying to think, like, I probably had, 50, 60 days at the resort, and then we ski tour a bunch, and then we travel. And so that part's hard. When you're traveling, you can't ski on, like, these long travel days. Like, we went to Norway this year and filmed for our YouTube series and ended up 5 flights, 6 flights or something. So you end up not skiing for, like, 3 days, but I can't give you a set answer on that. I will this year try to keep track, and then when I can come back on and give you a good answer.
I love it, yeah, because I mark every day and like who I was with and everything. I'm so into that. But I love to hear most people are just like, whatever, I don't care. Yeah, no, I'm like data-driven list person, nerdaholic.
Wow.
Well, I really want to dig into today. There's a lot. Your ski racing, your free skiing career, your mountaineering, your music. There's more. We'll see how much we can get to today. But to start, first, very curious about your quick and dirty 3-minute-ish backstory, your life story. Do you mind sharing that with us?
Oh my gosh. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'll keep it quick and dirty because I feel like at this point I've done a lot of this is who I am kind of thing. So, yeah, I mean, I'm a ex-ski racer. I grew up in northern Michigan, very small town hill. Grew up as a little ski racer with a lot of energy. My parents didn't know what to do with me, so they just put me in sports. So I did literally everything I could do, gymnastics, track, cross country, whatever. But ski racing really stuck. Moved out west, went to a ski academy called Romark Ski Academy. That's in Salt Lake City. My family moved out there with me. We all lived in Salt Lake City. I really wanted to ski race Division I in college. I was kind of racing NORAM Cups and thought maybe I would go the U.S. ski team direction. But at that point, it was like financially for my family a little tough. And I was fundraising and I got the opportunity to ski in college, and I was like, this seems like an amazing opportunity, and I really wanted to ski race for Westminster College, which had an NCAA Division I ski team. So I was the only American on the ski team. I was the youngest.
No way. The only American.
Yeah, and it's so cool. I had a totally different college experience than a lot of people. have. I got to be with a bunch of European ski racers that were so awesome and great friends to this day. And then I kind of like knew when I was in college that I wanted to do the big mountain skiing, and a lot of my guy and gal friends were like, Mads, you're a great free skier, like you should really kind of go for that. So while I was in college, I was simultaneously also trying to shoot for magazines up at Alta and Snowbird and in the backcountry with amazing legendary photographers that I grew up growing with. That's how my career kind of started. But yeah, that's like my skiing background. And then me as a person, I don't know, I'm kind of changing every day. I don't like to be put in a box. So I just really like to do it all, like do as much as I can and work really hard, just get excited about different opportunities and learning. So
you've been through the grind. I mean, I think the people with hardcore, even the softcore backgrounds in ski racing, they really shine on the big mountain when they make that transition. So you spent all that time on the NORAM, U.S. Nationals, NCAA Division I. What did it teach you about skiing? What did you learn from that translates to who you are now and how you ski now?
That's a great question. I think you learn a lot of independence through ski racing because you're kind of like away from your family. So as a ski racer, you learn a lot about independence, but also I think it really teaches you to like be okay with failing and to just like focus on one thing. And I mean, for me, I just loved ski racing so much. It was my life. Skiing has been my life and everything I've cared about so much, literally since I was born. So yeah, really dedicating something to the craft and wanting to get better and pushing yourself through so many different kinds of challenges, right? Like I raced Super G and downhill, which were really scary events to race, and I raced.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're going like 80 miles an hour, dude. I go 80 miles an hour in my car, and I'm like, stick my head out the window. I'm like, what? I can't believe I was going
People
that fast.
die. The guy just passed away in Chile the other day. You saw the Italian ski racer. It's so scary.
Yeah, it is really scary. And you take some gnarly crashes. And I stopped doing that when I skied in college because we only do tech in college, so Slalom and GS. But yeah, I mean, what does it teach you? That's a great question. I think so many things, and like good fundamental technique and tactics, and like for me, a big one is actually like where to find speed on the mountain. I had no trouble finding speed. I had more trouble technique-wise as a ski racer and as a young ski racer. Like coaches are like, you can't teach a kid how to find the speed, go fast, but you can teach them technique. So like, you're in good shape, you know? And I was just like,
great.
Okay. Fall line. That's what it teaches you, is freaking fall line.
I'm still working on my technique. I've never had good looking form. Is that something that you take for granted? Like, do you not have to think about it when you are going to ski, let's say a shoot? Do you just do it right? Are there still cues that you use?
Well, I think now I can lean on my millions and millions of hours of skiing and technique to kind of like fall back on. But of course, I think that there's sometimes when you're either learning a new skill or trick, or like even when I'm skiing bumps, I wasn't a bump skier, right? I was a racer, but I love skiing bumps at the resort. And so like, I definitely have like little cues for myself when I'm like skiing bumps, or honestly, I'm never satisfied with my skiing. Yes and no, I'm satisfied with my skiing. Like I really pride myself in being like a good technical skier. But I will say, like, following other people around with different style and chasing people around at the village is so fun because you just see how they move through the mountain, and you can then be like, oh, cool, they did that with their tails, and I want to try to do that. And so then you're kind of like thinking as you ski, but hopefully by the time you're at the top of like an Alaska spine line or like a tight couloir, you're like, okay, I'm locked in. I can just like trust my training that I've done my whole life.
Yeah, just blank mine like a river, just let everything flow. I like that. At what point, you mentioned that you realized in college you also wanted to work on free skiing, work with photographers. I bet you worked with Lee Cohen. I know you worked with Rocco, who are amazing photographers. Was there a crystalline, precipitous moment where you realized that, or was it something slow? Where was that moment? Was it in high school? Was it in college?
When I was a really little kid, I remember watching Warren Miller movies and being like, oh, dang, I want to be in this like little... I think there was this like a group of women going to Alaska, and they had this big van. I was like, I want to do that. But like, of course, as a ski racer, I was just focused on that. So that kind of dream got pushed away, but I've always been a performer. I've always been a kid that did like performances in front of my family, wanted to be the center of attention, wanted to be on the big screen, wanted to be in whatever, theatrical and fun. So I think I realized quickly that I wasn't going to make money ski racing. And so I needed to like shift my plan and kind of go towards the free skiing direction. And that switch happened more in college. I remember a few people being like, oh, I think you could totally do that. Like literally it was one person that was like, oh yeah, you should just like link up with so-and-so. And then I was like, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. And then I just started telling everyone, this is what I'm doing. I'm a professional skier. I'm just like charging down the mountain, hoping one of the photographers sees me. And sure enough, it paid off. I've gotten to shoot with a lot of really amazing photographers. Cam McLeod had a huge influence on my career. And then like Scott Markowitz, Lee Cohen, Rocco. Yeah, no, there's so many, and they all were so pivotal in helping me grow as an athlete. And Alta Ski Area really like tried to elevate me, I think, because I was just stoked on life. And like they were like, yeah, let's freaking do it.
That is fun. In transition from ski racing to big mountain skiing, was it liberating? Was it nice to leave some of that behind? Was it scary? Maybe both?
Was not scary at all.
Oh yeah, tell me why.
Well, I feel really lucky as an athlete or as a person. I feel like when I get something in my head, I just do it. I'm like, no, this is what I'm going to do. And like, nothing can stop me. And so like, I just kind of knew like, I really wanted to do this. I wanted to make this a career for myself. And I feel lucky that I had parents in my life that come from like a bunch of money, but my parents were always like, you know, Mads, like you can do anything you set your mind to. And so I think I had that in my head as like a little kid, and I haven't lost that, luckily. Of course, I have self-doubt. I'm not like a perfect person by any means, but I do still have this little part of me that's like, no, you can do anything you set your mind to. So sure enough, my last semester in college, I bailed on kind of that season. I was already kind of transitioning out of ski racing. I was like, I'm going to Europe. And then I linked up with Marcus Casson and Cam McLeod, and we went to Zermatt. Wow. That was my first time ever going to Europe. And I landed myself a 2-page spread in Free Skier magazine. And it was like kind of like my breakout moment. So yeah, I mean, it felt kind of flawless, but was it luck? No, I was freaking working my ass off so hard to try to get to that point. And surround yourself with people that are like better than you, and also just like want to support, and that you want to support them, and you kind of have these similar goals. And so I feel, yes, of course, I feel so lucky and appreciative, but also I'm like, no, I really worked my butt off there. You know,
that is the key in so many industries, but especially in skiing. It takes so much. So the transition wasn't scary. But I know that you've skied a lot of scary stuff. And I've watched a bunch of your movies or in your videos, the Jim and Mads. What might be the scariest thing you've skied?
Oh, the scariest thing. Okay, yeah, okay. This last season, we went and skied this line on the Middle Teton in Grand Teton National Park. And not many people ski this. At the time, I thought only 2 people had skied it. Found out later that more people have skied it. But so you have like the classic 50 classic east face of the middle, beautiful line. Okay, well, we decided in the spring to go up there and just not do that because we've done it before. We're gonna go ski this like unknown couloir, and Jim has it in his head. He's like, I really think this is gonna go, let's try it. And I'm like, okay, but we're bringing a filmer because I think it's going to be pretty good. So anyways, we ended up skiing down the first part that's super steep. The snow is absolutely heinous. Like awful. Like I could barely turn, and I feel like I can turn in a lot of really bad snow.
Like sticky, punchy, what was it?
I mean, everything from like windboard to breakable crust to punchy to just like bulletproof ice to refrozen debris. I mean, it was just really bad, like a mixed bag of everything, where our filmer the top pitch didn't even make a turn. He just like sidestepped down the thing.
And was that Eric Repka?
Yeah, he's the best, dude.
I love Eric, yep.
You should get him on the pod, dude. He is awesome.
Yeah, I actually thought that today.
Yeah, and he'd be a really interesting person to talk to because his career is just...
He's on a rocket ship right now.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he's crushing it. And so having him on our team is so awesome. So anyways, we get down there and we're like, okay, we don't know what's going to happen from here on out. This is all going to be in an episode of the Jim and Mad show that's going to be on YouTube. And like literally it's going to happen in like a week or 2. Or maybe 2 weeks it's going to get released. So you'll get to see it.
What's the title going to be?
I don't know. We haven't decided the title.
Okay.
Probably like Unknown Couloir.
All right.
Stupid idea. I don't know. I'll tighten this all up. But pretty much what happens is...
No, I like it like this.
We go past the point of no return. That means we're now rappelling into the unknown. We can't find any anchors. No one freaking skis this thing. We can't find any anchors. We end up building an anchor. We do this first rappel. We get down. We're like, cool. Then we start skiing again. Super tight couloir, like barely making turns. Super bad snow. And we're like, okay, what's next? Then there's another rappel and another. And I end up deciding to take this rappel, and I'm like, I'll go first. I get down there, and I'm literally hanging off this ice cliff, and I'm like, dude, we have no more rope left. Like, we need to make like a hanging V thread on. I need Jim to get down here. So then Jim comes down. We're doing like a hanging crazy rappel. You know, the story goes on and on and on like this until and then also we're running out of light in the meantime. It's like 9 p.m. and we're trying to get the heck out of here. We still have so far to go. Anyways, this will all be like on
Whoa, I want to
YouTube
see this
series,
one.
but
How many rappels in the end was it?
I think it was like 3 or 4 rappels.
Oh god,
but like
that's so
didn't know how
scary.
long they were, so you just like have the gear that you have, and luckily we had literally the perfect amount of gear. We think we left like 3 pitons and like some slings and got out of there. But yeah, I think I was gripped for a lot of that, but I felt like I was in a good place with my female cycle that I could like handle it, versus sometimes I can't show up with the same energy or fearlessness. So I was
Tell
in a
me
good
more.
place, so we kind of Oh, well, I mean, I kind of am pretty open about this stuff on social media because it really affects me a lot. But as a female athlete, I just go through a lot of ups and downs with my cycle. And obviously, like, my body feels one way. Maybe I'm more fatigued in this luteal phase, or like during when I'm bleeding. I'm like, I don't feel as good in my body. I have like way more negative self-talk. I'm like more fatigued, more kind of just a countless list of like symptoms. But what I also notice is that my fear increases during that time. So like I could be like totally able and capable of doing something 2 weeks prior, and then it comes to that part of the phase and I've had to turn around. I'm like, I'm not comfortable with this. It's probably because my body's literally like preparing for a child every month or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm learning a lot more about it, Miles, and I'm like trying to figure it out. And it's really good because, like, we kind of plan around it sometimes. Jim
I was just going to ask that. Okay.
Jim's like, it's our cycle. He's like, this is our cycle because this is not
this
only
together.
affecting you. Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
We do plan around it.
And I know some women will get an IUD or something like that that eliminates periods. Is that something you consider, or is that not part of your approach to healthcare?
Well, I had one for a long time, and then I was like, this is making me crazy. And then sure enough, I like took it out, and I'm like, nope, I'm still as crazy as I ever was.
I'm even crazier now.
I might be more crazy. But that being said, I know that my body doesn't have artificial hormones in it. And what I think it's really done is really allowed me to tune into my body and really notice when I'm feeling like I'm rock solid and ready to go. And then when I'm feeling like I need to like step back and do what I need to do to take care of my body. And so I think cheat your own for that kind of stuff. But I do think that there's something beneficial about listening to your body. I'm just learning a lot more about it and getting excited about that. I'm willing to take the downs that are low and kind of shitty because the highs are pretty kick-ass for me. So that's good.
That is great. And so I guess the other side of it would be, what might have been your favorite ski trip? And I am very curious to watch that YouTube video. Thank you for prepping us with that. But yeah, what might have been your favorite ski trip that you've been on?
Well, Jim and I just had a couple first descents in Lofoten, Norway, which is we're also releasing in like 3 weeks. And that's just a really beautiful place. I mean, that's really hard to say. Like, out of this last year, I think that was probably my favorite line. We named it the V Couloir. It was on this mountain called Vesttinden. We found out that it had never been skied before, and so we like worked really hard to try to get to the top of this line and skied this couloir, and it was just like pretty freaking spectacular and beautiful. Wow. And you have like the fjords and the mountains, and Norway is pretty beautiful. And so that kind of strikes me as a line that I'm like proud and stoked about. And not that the conditions were that good, you know, like the top was pretty okay, but you'll see in the video it was like just like absolutely chatterboard ice under dust on crust. Oh gosh. But it was still so cool to be like, okay, no one's ever skied this and we just did. So that feels really cool. But I don't know if I have any, like, I have favorite lines here in the Tetons, but go-to lines, but yeah, I don't know.
How long did it take to hike to the top of that first descent in Norway?
Well, okay. it probably took us 4 some hours to get to the top of it. That being said, it took us like 3 days to like actually get there.
Oh, so this was deep.
Well, no, it was just really difficult to get to. Like, no one goes there because
like
you have to shuttle all these.
transportation-wise.
But the transportation, like, Norway is just known for having these couloirs that kind of just jut up from the road, and you can just like walk. People, it's so easy. You just go up there and you just like walk up couloirs. It's so sick. It's like a dream if you're into couloir skiing. But of course, the classic Jim and Mads fashion, we're like, we need to go find one that's never been skied and really hard to get to. And so so that's what we did. And so we ended up trying to walk there by foot. Couldn't do that. It was what Ian McIntosh and Sage were telling me this weekend at the TGR premiere, vertical swamp. And that's exactly what it's like in Lofoten. You're just walking up a vertical swamp. And it was just heinous BS to get to all the lines. But that was the reason why it was, I think no one skis it, is because it's extremely difficult to get to unless you have like a boat in this specific fjord.
That's really cool. Wow, that sounds like a really amazing adventure. So few of us get to
was.
do stuff like that or experience skiing in that way. I guess we didn't talk about the last piece of it, kind of, or at least the transition. So you were in Utah for college, and then after college you might have stayed for a bit. And then why did you choose Jackson as your home base, and how long have you been there?
Okay, so I ended up meeting Jimmy for
Jimmy
at
Ryan.
a heli. Yeah, Jimmy Ryan, my ski partner, my best friend. He's amazing.
He is
If
amazing.
you know Mads, you know Jim. If you know Jim, you know Mads. So it's like I met Jim and we just like hit it off as just like two Helly Hansen athletes, and I just like was immediately like, oh, this guy gets me. And like I think he also felt like, oh my god, this chick is fucking crazy and she's totally my vibe. And so we ended up just kind of being really two energies or two souls that really connected. And I spent a lot of time in Jackson. So we ended up, actually, this is crazy, Jim and I dated for like a year or something.
I didn't
like
know
this.
that part. Oh, that's great.
A long time ago. We don't really talk about it that much, but yeah, we did for a long time ago. But now that ended, and we just decided like we were just really good friends. That was kind of how our paths needed to be and align, and it pretty much kicks ass. I'm not really sure I know anyone in the industry at all that like dated and then became business partners first and have like a very successful career together. But yeah, we met, we just kind of vibed and worked really well as business partners in the industry together. And so he lived in Jackson, so I came out to Jackson. I remember him calling me up, be like, oh Mads, you want to come film this project with me at Jackson? I was like, yeah, sure, I'll drive there tomorrow. So I literally drove out there, filmed this project with him, and I was sold instantly. I mean, I used to come to Jackson for ski racing way back in the day, like 2014, whatever, like even before that. And I loved racing at Snow King, but I hadn't really like explored Jackson Hole Mountain Resort. And then when we went there, I was like, shit, this is the best. Like, I don't want to leave. And then of course, like this whole thing with Jim. So I just like spent a lot of time out there and kind of split time between Salt Lake and Jackson. And then I just moved to Jackson. And then Jim and I like ended, and we still are now best friends, and we do movies together. We were in like 2 Warren Miller movies together, whatever. It's great.
So
and now
fun.
the TGR film, and now we have a YouTube series. So that's why I came to Jackson. You come for maybe like the snow and the terrain or whatever, but you stay for the community. And I found just like the best of friends that I am so supported by and love a lot, and all kind of have similar attitude around wanting to push yourself harder and see what you're capable of, and supporting each other, and whatever that means,
And how do you compare Jackson and Utah? Because I'm similar. I'm based in Utah now. But I spend a lot of time in Jackson. I rent a room there in the winter. And I'm curious, how do you see them? How do they differ?
Well, I feel like the cool thing, and I lived in Salt Lake for quite a while, high school and college, and the best part about Salt Lake is like the powder skiing. I've never skied any snow like that. It's just champagne pow, super light, super fluffy. But what drew me to Jackson was the terrain. I feel like I had kind of like, just like when I moved from Michigan, I had not fully maxed out because I haven't skied everything in the Wasatch, but I had maxed out maybe what I was doing exactly in Utah, and that was shooting a lot of powder, like low angle photos. And I think I really wanted to get into like technical, steep terrain. And so the difference, I think, to me is that like Salt Lake has everything, right? You have really good food and stores, and it's a city. It's a big
Full
city,
on.
but in really good powder snow and lots to do. But Jackson felt the small town that I needed to be, and the terrain here, when we get the storms, it's awesome. Maybe we don't get that like exactly same like huge dump of champagne powder, but we do get really good snow, and we have really phenomenal terrain. I think the best terrain in the lower 48, and so I wanted to really push myself in that way. And then obviously the opportunity for mountaineering, I've always been into that even when I was younger. And so that really kind of opened the doors for me there.
The Teton trickle is pretty magical. 4 inches a night for 2 weeks straight. There's really nothing that beats that.
Maybe I'm going to blow my nose. Can you cut this out?
No, I'm going to keep it in just on purpose. Yeah.
No, Miles.
The video, all of it.
Sorry, everyone. I just have I'm run down slightly.
We're living real life out here, people. I am curious, in Europe, because you've seen all of this, what do you think are the gnarliest lines in the Tetons?
Whoa. There's so many that I haven't done. There's some crazy shit off the Grand. There's that couloir I told you about that we skied on the middle. Then there's just like stuff way out there, and like skiing off of Owen, skiing off of, oh my God, there's some stuff off Thor that Jim and a couple of our friends, Beppe and Clayton, went and skied. And that's kind of more towards like Moran.
To the north.
That, it's called the Hidden Couloir. That is freaking crazy. I can't believe they did that. It was a really bad idea to do it in the summer, but they did it anyways.
Describe that to us.
It's this like couloir that you can see from the top of Mount Moran. I was kind of injured at the end of the season, so I was like, I can't do this mission. And honestly, I was thinking to myself, that's a bad idea. I kind of just go back for a second. Like at the end of a season, and you might not feel this because you are a crazy man. I also identify as a crazy man, but not in different ways. So Jim and our friend Beppe and Clayton go out, and they're going to ski Hidden Couloir. And this thing looks so sick in the winter. It's this freaking super tight couloir that cuts through the mountain. You can see it from the top of the Skillet if you're going to go ski Mount Moran, which is a 50 classic. Right. And I've always had my eyes on it. I'm like, that thing looks so cool, but also so scary. You have this like unknown, right? No one skis it really. It gets skied maybe once every few years because it has to fill in correctly, and there's these crazy rappels, et cetera. Pretty technical. And yeah, Jim and Beppe and Clayton went out and they did it in the summer. I think it was a super slog and really difficult and challenging and honestly frightening and scary. And those boys afterward were like, I'm glad you didn't go, Mads, because it was really bad. But then Jim was like, I'm so stoked. It was the best. But that's Jim for you. You have to really know yourself if you're going to hang out with Jim, because he will do really crazy shit. I had to learn this the hard way, but you have to really like be able to say like, I'm not comfortable with that, or hey, I think that's a really good idea, or I'm gonna bring an extra like puffy because I might be hanging out here for hours, or more food than you're gonna bring. You just got to know yourself, because Jim can kind of just like take it to a whole nother level. And I think those boys figured that out quickly, because I wasn't there to be like, guys, don't forget this.
Yeah. I think we all have that one friend that pretty much no matter what, every day is awesome. Like, oh, it's so fun, man. You should have been out there. And it's like, I know I can't trust you. It was probably awful, terrible slog.
That's usually me, actually.
I bet you and Jim share that.
Yeah.
So tell me about we keep talking about Jimmy Ryan and you and how you guys have this amazing relationship together and what you do together. Tell me about the Jim and Mads show.
Okay, yeah. So we're going into season 3 of the Jim and Mads show.
Congrats.
I'm fired up. I'm really stoked.
You should be. It's amazing. I watch all of them.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, we really wanted to create something that we're proud of, that we have creative control over, that's a bit more long form than just social media, and that we can kind of like showcase exactly what we want to showcase and have the freedom of expression to do that. And our sponsors have been really stoked and supportive. And so, yeah, we're going into our 3rd season, but right now we're releasing season 2. So we have probably like 4 more episodes to release this fall, and then we'll go into the winter and film another 6 episodes and then release them again the next fall, and hopefully this just continues. But yeah, we really just want to showcase like a wide variety of skiing and having fun. So like ski joring to mountaineering to groomers to bumps to whatever it may be, and in hopes that people relate and enjoy, and it's a lot of fun to make. And so yeah, I think it's a good pathway, and it feels like the industry is moving in some ways a little bit toward YouTube and shorter form videos. So
I really enjoy it because I think, like you said, it is relatable. I mean, some of it's not. You guys go too hardcore, but a lot of it's really relatable, and it's just fun. You guys are vulnerable. I think you guys are a lot of the things that we enjoy as people in general too. So I think it's really fun to watch these people go through this experience, have this relationship, and really challenge themselves and put themselves out there. And then you pull people in who are really interesting, like Eric and other friends. And so I really enjoyed it. And so I think that's right. It's 6 episodes a year or so. And I'm also curious, what was it like? So you had your first TGR experience this year, right? So you filmed, you're in the TGR movie. Can you tell us what that was like, where you filmed, and everything?
Yeah, so luckily, Jim's been in quite a few TGR movies, but we were already heading to Norway. And so we were filming for our series, the Jim and Mad Show, and TGR was like, yo, we really want to include you guys. Make sure you film everything. And so we were super stoked because we kind of got to do both. So we got to film kind of like a long form Jim and Mad Show style, like this is the objective we're going for. It's like, 15 minutes long, and it kind of goes in detail of what it takes to ski a first descent. And then TGR took all of the footage, like 24 hours of footage, and was like bangers only, boom, 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 in like 5 minutes to a 6 song. And then and it was awesome. And we just had the premiere this weekend. It was so fun. That's why my voice is gone. Because I was screaming. But yeah, no, it's cool to be a part of that family. And here in Jackson, they're super kind and supportive. And yeah, it's a treat to be able to be a part of that movie this year. I'd done other bigger movie productions, but I hadn't done one in a couple of years. And I think there's always a certain level of stress, to be completely honest, whether it's for a series or for a bigger production, that I put on myself, that I really want to like perform the best of my ability. And oftentimes with ski mountaineering, with what Jim and I do, you have literally one opportunity. Like a helicopter isn't going to take me to the top of the line again. I'm not going to get another shot to ski this first descent. Like I have to like nail it. Plus you're putting your body through a lot because you're hiking up thousands and thousands of feet. And so yeah, I think if we're being totally honest here, I think I had a lot of stress on myself during that trip, and I wish I would have taken it a little bit easier on myself and been a little more content with my skiing. But I think it's really easy for athletes to nitpick themselves and wish that they skied something better, wish they got a better shot. Looking back, I see the footage and I'm like, why was I so pissed about my skiing? Because I feel like I ripped the shit out of that in the movie. But in the moment, I just couldn't see it, and I was in a bad place in my cycle, and I was being kind of a shithead for a little while on that trip. I honestly feel pretty bad. That being said, like, I think that's kind of the reality of like being an athlete. It's not just like glamorous. Like I freaking cried myself to sleep one night because I was just so mad at myself. And this is something that I work really, really hard on in therapy. I go to an amazing therapist, and I really work on this. Thanks. Yeah, I really work on this like self-belief and self-talk and contentment. Who's Madison without the achievements that she's done? Hard, because you want to keep elevating and having these achievements, but sometimes it's hard to just like sit with yourself and be like, I'm good enough. But that's the whole key, is figuring out, okay, like I'm enough, just being me, just being myself, who I am as a person, in the self-growth that I am trying to do, so that I can hopefully be a positive light to people I'm around. But it's a lot of mental effort and work when you're on these trips. Like that's not super always so glamorous, I think.
I think that is something that most people don't understand, the stress. I feel it when I watch the movies. I have a little bit of understanding around what it's like. And sometimes even when I work in Alaska, I'm with athletes and they're at the top and it's 3, 2, 1, the drone's up, rip it, go now. That's really stressful, right? Because you have perfect conditions, potentially perfect light, all you. But then I think what you guys do is even harder. You like you said, you've hiked all this way, potentially for hours and hours. You're very tired now. And now you've got to rip this line and ski movie style, and that comes with a lot of stress. Bindings. Yeah, that comes with a lot of pin bindings. Yeah, and you're like, I think it's gonna hold. Everything feels pretty good, and so yeah, you're not in your most comfortable gear on top of that. And I always disliked the quote from Walt Disney that he always said, we're only as good as our next movie. And I feel like that happens to us as athletes too, right? We get trapped in that trap. Can you say that? Sure, we're saying it. Because it's, you may have had all these great accomplishments, but, it's always like, well, what have you done lately? What are you working on next? And, and I always hope that all of us through therapy or talking to friends or whatever can get away from that, because again, yeah, we're good to go how we are. We've done what we've done. We're going to do what we're going to do. You're not as good as your next movie. You're as good as who you are right now. But I appreciate
totally
you sharing
think
that, because I think that's something all of us who are skiers and snowboarders and probably action sports in general really struggle with.
Yeah, dude, I totally agree with everything that you're saying. And it is hard to think of when people are like, oh, what's next? What's next? You're like, dang, I've done so much this season. I'm tired, like, what's next? I mean, shit, I'm just trying to, like, kind of ride the ride of, but then that never happens. I never have been able to ride the ride of a high for longer than a day. So, like, I'm trying to do that a little bit more. Well, I'd also really quickly have to go back and say, I don't think what we do is necessarily harder than what the guys do in Alaska. Going to Alaska and heli skiing, like, and throwing down, like, what they do. Oh, dude, I am so impressed. It is scary up there. Like, I've been up there. It's gnarly. It's just a totally different vibe.
You can't see
You're
anything.
not, like,
it just rolls away.
You can't see anything. Right, exactly. So I think the two different things, and they're both challenging, and they're... Someone that's only a heli skier might think what we do is really freaking difficult. Or someone that only takes chairlifts thinks that climbing the Grand Middle South is really hard. But when you just train walking uphill, it's a little bit different than standing on top of a spine line in Alaska that's 60 degrees or whatever. So I had to just, like, validate how challenging it is for those skiers in Alaska that are making the movies happen. So,
I do agree. I agree on both.
Tying it back to what's next thing too, right? Like,
yeah.
In this day and age, we are constantly flooded with social media. So not only are you under the spotlight and under eyes of critique and what people have opinions about you every single day or every single post. I'm sure you feel this hugely, right? But it used to just be like when the photo came out in the magazine or when the movie came out in the fall, then you were up for grabs for people to talk shit about you or say congratulations. Now it's every day. You put out a piece of content and someone can have really something kind of crazy to tell you or mean to say or something positive. So there's like this crazy feedback loop, whatever way it goes. And so in that way, you're just like, it feels like you kind of you're like, oh, I need to keep putting out content. I need to keep doing this. But I think it is good to, like, check in with yourself and be like, okay, is this what I want to be doing right now? Is this fulfilling to me? And also, like, screw the haters because I'm just not interested.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've talked about this on the podcast a bunch, and I had somebody who's relatively famous from Hollywood tell me once that you want more haters. You want more haters tomorrow than you have today, because people only hate on you when you're doing well. And, people aren't hating on somebody who's got a bad problem. They are hating on you because you're doing well. So I wish you more haters, Madison.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's kind. My dad always said the more people that know you, similar thing. The more people that know you, the more people aren't going to like you. There's going to be more amount of people that won't like you.
It's a percentage.
Totally. I got a funny comment the other day. It was just like, I've never wanted to punch a redhead in the face so much.
Oh my God.
I was just like, what if I commented back? I was like, if I was blonde, would you still want to punch me in the face? Like, I just don't care anymore, but I'm in a place in my life and career that I don't feel like I take it as personally anymore. I just am doing me and having fun, so...
I've written people back too online, and they've been like, sorry, man, I was having a bad day. My girlfriend broke up with me or whatever. It's just, I was just a jerk that day. I don't mean any of that. I like what you do. All right. You just never know. People are...
Mostly, you can't take it personally.
There's a great book, and I feel silly right now because I can't remember the author, but there's a great book you have to read called The 4 Agreements.
Oh, yeah, I've read it.
Oh, yeah, in one of the agreements, it might be 2 or 3 or 4 or 1, and it says that don't take anything personally. Because when people say negative comments, it's coming from their place of negativity. It's really not about you at all. It's about them and how they're feeling. I hope that you remember that, because obviously what you're doing is great and positive.
I appreciate that a lot. Likewise.
Well, thank you. And how about filming for Warren Miller? What was that like? Could you tell us? You filmed 2 movies with him. Where did you go, and what was that like? Yeah,
the first one I filmed was totally a dream come true because I just, as a young kid, really wanted to do that. It was awesome. It was in Sun Valley. I filmed it with Jimmy and Kaylin Richardson. And we filmed with CP, Chris Patterson. We kind of just like shredded groomers mostly. And I was on DPS skis at the time, and they were on these Vocal race skis. I was like, this is completely uncomparable. Like, you have no idea how I'm having to like perform right now.
Right.
Like, no shade on DPS. I love that crew. They're really great. That was my first like sponsor, technically, I guess. Yeah, it was challenging. I'm trying to like ski hard.
Well, you're used to ski race, race skis.
Yeah, totally. But they gave me an opportunity when I came out of college, and it was hard to pass up. They believed in me and wanted to help me with a short film that I wanted to make. So it was a really good. They really helped me kind of like launch myself in my career. So I have nothing but appreciation for them. But once I got on vocals, I was like, okay, this is what I need to be on, because I am just a racer at heart. I want to go fast and ski bumps and groomers. But yeah, we filmed in Sun Valley. It was really fun. Then the second one I did, I had a major concussion at the time.
Oh, no.
And we went to, I know, it was kind of bad. We went to Mustang Powder in
BC,
British Columbia. That was really cool.
You got to meet
really
Nick.
Lucky.
He's great.
Nick, yeah. That whole crew was really nice and super kind. It was kind of insane. It almost felt like the heavens were granting me with... I was very lucky. I got there and I had a concussion. I was like, I don't know if I can hit any airs. I definitely can't. My PT was like, don't do it. Mm-hmm. Just ski POW. And I was like, well, I don't know if there's going to be POW. And sure enough, it freaking dumped.
Yes.
And we're just cat skiing. And all I did was like, I wore 96 underfoot and I just skied POW. And I made it look really freaking deep, even deeper than it was. So I just like knew the game. And I was like, I'll play the game. I'll make this look really freaking good. And it was really good. But also I was like, I can't hit any airs. So I'm going to use like maybe a more narrower ski. I ski
That
on
was
a
a
narrow
good
ski
strategy.
anyways,
I wouldn't have thought of that.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, I love the
smart.
mantra from vocal, and so that's like my daily driver, and so I was like, this is what I want to wear, and I'm just gonna freaking go for it. And it dumped, and that was a fun one as well. And yeah, tour for both of those was really fun, and East Coast tour where you hang out with the kids, it was really great. I really liked my experience being a part of that family.
Well, congrats. Warren Mill is a big deal. Hearing you talk about big dumps and all these challenging lines that you ski, have you ever been in an avalanche?
Oh gosh. Okay. Yes and no. I'd say I've triggered a lot of avalanches. I've skied out of a lot of avalanches. I've like ski cut avalanches. I've never been buried in an avalanche. I've come very close to getting buried in an avalanche / close to one of my friends getting buried in an avalanche. That being said, really try to not be in an avalanche.
Well, could you tell us the story?
I think the one I will tell is one from last season because I think it has a good lesson. Well, I have two actually that have really good lessons. They both are kind of similar.
Let's do both.
Okay, so I'm skiing out of bounds Jacksonville Mountain Resort. I've skied literally at this point. I'm with my ski partner Jimmy. We're going out. We had been filming low angle out of bounds the whole day. We knew the avalanche hazard was high. We decided to film in low, non-avalanche terrain. We ski probably like 6 laps out there. We go back. Jim says to me, Mads, this one's just for us. We're not going to film anything. Let's just go have fun. By the way, it had snowed 5 feet in 5 days.
Whoa.
So it is like absolutely crazy. Mm-hmm. He just goes, you pick where we want to go. And I go, okay, I want to ski this line. I think I can get us there. So we go over, we start skiing down, and by the time we get down there, I'm like, shit, we're not in the right place. Like, I didn't nail the entrance of this line. Mm-hmm. And these lines in the backcountry, you could start and think you're in the right place, and then it could totally cliff out, or it could roll over. You just don't know. And all of a sudden, we end up in a place where we're like, okay, we either have to ski this couloir, or we have to boot pack back up, chest deep, no joke, like overhead POW, like way the hell back up there. But like we look down and we can kind of see the couloir, but neither of us had skied it. And I'm like, dude, this is kind of weird. We're not in the right place. Jim's like, no, we're definitely not. Like, what do you think we should do? And I'm like, well, we could go back up. We could go across. We're kind of just like talking through this game plan. By the way, getting close to 4 o'clock, lifts are closing. It's the last run of the day. It was kind of this perfect storm where it was the very last run and we just wanted to go out and we just stepped out a little too far. And so then we end up saying like, okay, I think we could ski cut this and then we could ski it. And Jim's like, I'm going to make a left footer and a right footer. Well, sure enough, he goes out to do the first turn, the left footer, and it just freaking, the whole thing blows. Like, the whole thing fucking rips. I mean, I just, like, see it from the top, and always from the top, it actually looks a little less intimidating almost, but, like, the whole thing cracks, rips, goes down, and then we are both like, shit, we obviously knew we made the wrong decision. We knew they made the wrong decision before. We could have just hiked back up, but it would have just been a really big pain in the butt, so that's mistake number 2. Mistake number 1 was just missing where I was supposed to go. Mistake number 2 could have gone back up. Mistake number 3, whatever. So the mistakes, they stack up. So we end up skiing down in the run out of all the debris. And this thing was huge. I don't know if we've ever triggered one that big. It was really, really big. And it was scary because I think it actually took out another couloir right next to it. And the whole thing it totally ripped. And I just kept feeling so shitty and so guilty in my head that I said that I would ski cut it. And then Jim was like, no, Mads, I'm going to ski cut it. I think because Jim thought that it might rip. And I also kind of thought that. And so then you have this like partner feeling where you're like, I put my partner in danger. So, and you learn these things. And I kept having these nightmares where like in another world, Jim got caught in the avalanche and I had to fucking go get him. And it was just awful. And I just like hate thinking about that. And so we like learned a good lesson on that trip. We were at home, but we learned a good lesson. It's just like your day could be super awesome and it was perfect, but like when you already set a plan for the day, like just because it went really well for that first part of the day when you weren't skiing in technically avalanche terrain, don't step out because you're like, oh, things are going good, you know. And then also just like make a better plan. So that was one of them, and it just affected me a lot. And then the second one was in Norway. It was also our last. See, there's trends with these kinds of things. It was our last day in Norway.
Yeah.
Also will probably be an episode, but we had skied in the zone before, 0 avalanche activity the entire time we were there. Didn't make that many good obs. We took a rest day, and then on the way up, because I told you earlier, the vertical swamp. So you're in, most of your approach is in a freaking swamp. So you're not assessing the snowpack, okay?
You're just in the pain cave suffering, just trying to get through.
You're just wet.
Yeah.
You're just wet, dude. You're everything's wet. And so you're not really assessing the snow. But as soon as we did get on snow, we noticed that there had been wind. We wanted to go ski this narrow couloir. And so we're hiking up. I start to say like, yo, wind slab, guys. I'm with Clayton and Jim. And our filmer decides the snow is weird. He doesn't want to go in the couloir. He's our drone pilot. So he's like, I'm hanging down here at the bottom. We hike up. I said like 3 times, wind slab, guys, freaking wind slab. I feel this is super weird. I feel wind slab. But everyone's like, I feel like it could be really secure onto the snow. And of course I second guess myself. I'm like, yeah, maybe it is pretty like locked in there. I don't know. But I knew. I was like, I feel wind slab. We get to the top and I get this like thing in my stomach that just boom, like full rock turn of stomach. And I say to Jim, I'm like, yo, dude, I'm not skiing this thing first. Because in my head, I know that it could rip. And I probably should have said, I think this is going to rip, but I just said, I'm not skiing this first. I don't feel good about it. Jim's like, sure, I'll take it. I'm like, oh my God.
Get the drone up, I'm going.
Yeah, so the drone goes up. Jim's like making hop turns, stomping on some pockets. Nothing happens. And then starts to like let it go Jim style. And then the whole thing freaking rips again.
Whoa.
And it would have been really gnarly because there was all this like crazy rocks and all this shit. And I'm just thinking to myself, I freaking knew that was going to rip. I should have spoken up more because I think women, I'm making a really broad statement here, but like have really good intuition. No joke, my stomach literally told me. And when it turned like that, and I've been trying to be more in tune with my body because it actually gives you more messages than you know. And so it's actually like a superpower. But anyways, obviously I didn't listen to it in the moment. We didn't end up skiing that even after it ripped because there was all these pockets. And luckily Jim was able to like turn out of it and get to like a secure place and wait for us to make a decision on how we were going to get off the entire mountain, which was really kind of an interesting whole other thing. We ended up going up and skiing like a tiny little line that wasn't consequential without the wind slab. But anyways, Jim was like stuck in the couloir forever, just being like, holy shit, there's still more pockets that haven't ripped. And it was kind of gnarly.
That's terrifying. And I think there is a lot of validity to what you're saying because I read a great book that you would like by Dr. David Eagleman called Incognito.
Okay.
And he's
Cool.
I think he's a medical doctor and does neuro. And he talks about, one of his analogies is your brain is a super tanker. Your consciousness is a small compartment in the hull. The rest of it is all your subconscious. So your subconscious was talking to you, you know, like you're saying, you know, your gut, your stomach's twisting, you know, your subconscious can process all this and make understandable decisions. And your consciousness is an idiot sometimes and can override that.
Oh, dude, it's so crazy. It's so cool. But now I'm like, okay, I understand that. I would totally read that book. Yeah, it's really interesting if you actually just like slow down for a second and are like, what's going on? I feel weird about this. Sometimes you're like a dog. Dog's like, no, when lightning's going to happen or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, or then a fire's going to happen. I don't
Yeah.
know. You're probably smarter than you think. We don't listen to it often because we're athletes. And we're like, no, I can just muscle through anything. Kind of like my training program.
Well, and it's the pressure too. If the filmers are there and you do have this pressure and you're making a movie, all those things get calculated in there. Thank you so much for sharing those and the lessons from that. I think those are some of the best stories that we hear about here on the podcast. But you do have to tell us more. You mentioned it, that you skied the Grand, the Middle, and the South Teton in Wyoming in one day. And I don't even understand that. How did that work? Tell me the whole story.
The story starts before that because I went and did this mission with my girlfriend Dana Larkin. She's like, you want to go up the Grand and want to climb the Upper Exum? I was like, yeah, that sounds really gnarly. Let's do it. And so we did it in ski boots. So like that is gnarlier than anything I've ever done in my life.
So you're rock climbing in ski boots, essentially.
Yes, ice climbing, rock climbing. It was fucking scary. I don't ever want to do that again. But lots of lessons learned. Just don't do it in ski boots. Like, it just doesn't work very well if you're not. It doesn't work. I consider myself a pretty darn good athlete, and I was so gripped. I thought I was going to die, and there was, like, moments where we were just helping each other out. But that being said, I also was a beautiful experience because I was with another woman in the mountains. I don't spend that much time with other women in the mountains, and so being with Dana, she used to be an Exum guide. She's super talented, badass climber and skier, and it was super empowering to be up there with her, like, pushing my limit and like changing out leads. And like when I got totally adrenally zapped on one of the pitches where I was so scared, she just like stepped up to the plate and freaking led the next like 3 pitches in a row. And like I'm forever grateful because I just like I couldn't do it. Like my fear had gotten so high that like my body like shut down. I was so tired. 13,000 feet trying to climb this stuff, and you're making like these tiny micro moves. Oh my god, I could go on and on about that whole day. That being said, it was super intense. My fear was super high, so I felt what turns out like your adrenal gland can just like totally get destroyed, and your body is not physically able to like, it's not just mentally tired, it actually makes your body physically tired. And so there I go, and I'm like, okay, so we finished that day. I'm like, thank God I'm alive, man. I love my life. I'm really proud of what we did. That was actually freaking crazy. Dana, I love you. And then, like, the next day, Eric calls us, and he's like, I think it's, after that day, I was like, dude, if I don't do anything for the rest of the season, I'm fine.
I'm done.
I was so done, dude. I was like, I'm so gassed from this. So then the next day, Eric calls and is like, let's do Grand Middle South. Okay, I'll make the decision today at some point. And I was like, God, do I want to do this? And it wasn't that I was scared that my body couldn't do it. It was that I was like so adrenally tapped that I didn't know what climbing the North Ridge of the Middle would look like in the winter. So I was just kind of, fear was at an all-time high. Quickly fast forward, after the season, I ended up having like 4 months of actual adrenal fatigue where I couldn't literally do anything.
Well, you're gonna have to tell us more about that when you're done with the story. I've never heard of that.
Okay, yeah, pin it, and then I'll tell you.
A pin.
Well, we'll remember. So there we go. We set off on our Grand Middle South mission, and I'm thinking to myself the whole time, like, I don't know if I want to do the Middle and the South. I can do the Grand. That's the easy route up the Grand. That's fine. It's just a long day. A little bit of ice climbing. Okay, maybe I'm downplaying it. It's, like, pretty darn challenging for anyone getting into mountaineering. There's ice climbing often. Oftentimes people rope up, whatever. Like, but for me at the time, I'm like, I could do anything after I did that with Dana. I can do anything. This is my thought. I could just whatever. So we go up. I'm gassed from the get-go. I am so tired. Eric takes off. He's just hauling, and Jim's going up. And I'm like, have these ski crampons on. I hate ski crampons. And I'm like, this sucks for me. I'm so tired. Once we get to the top of the Grand, we solo the entire thing. Whoa. No ropes. We're the first ones up there. It's sunrise. We get there before sunrise, and vibes are high, but I still know that we have so much longer to go. Like, we already climbed 7,000 feet. Now we have to go down and out and then up the middle. And I'm just like, oh my God, I don't want to do that. I'm nervous. I'm scared. And so we ski down. It's absolutely bulletproof. And I'm talking, you can't even like set your edge.
And you're above huge exposure.
Yeah, exactly. You're above like all these rappel stations and ice bulges and cliffs and shit. But whatever. I'm like, okay, we'll make it down. So we make it down. We get out of there. We head over to the middle, and I'm like, oh God, here we go. Start rock climbing again. Start going up icy chunks, whatever. And I start to feel like, and then we get into the couloir that goes to the summit, and I was like, oh no, I got this. It was not as bad as the upper Exum of the Grand. So I was like, this is chill. I come back to life. I am just
wow.
let's go to the south. I'm stoked. Once the fear was over from the middle, I was like, I'm cruising. So I get this new energy. Meanwhile, Jim stays consistent, good vibe, energy, like we can do anything the whole day. Eric started so strong, way up hauling ass. And then once we get past this like cruxy climb part on the middle, he just tanks. And suddenly, we couldn't even show this in our episode very well because we didn't have much footage, because I told Eric to put the camera away because I was scared for him. Eric bonks super hard. Oof. And we're going up the south. He's bonking. We go up, we get to the summit. And then suddenly, like, we're on the south, and Eric, like, can't turn. And I'm oh, shit. Like, he's just frozen in time. And I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. What do we do? So what I decide is that I'm going to give him all of my water. I'm going to give him all the food that I have left. And he actually had kind of a similar thing, like adrenal fatigue, or like he was really gripped. Couldn't do it anymore. But he could do it, but he just was like in a weird headspace. I tell Jim to go ahead. I sandwich Eric in between us. So Jim leads the way. Eric can just follow Jim slowly. And then I'll just be on the rear and just like follow him down. And eventually we make it. It took a while and he kind of came back to life. But then we get to a little water source, get him more water and food. Eric's a big guy.
He's like
Eric
a linebacker.
Yeah, he's super strong. He's super awesome. But he definitely probably needs more food than Jim and I, which are kind of like
for sure
little kids, you know, compared to him. And so anyways, we got him food, we got him water, and then we like skated out of there. We smoked a cigarette because we thought Eric thought that would be a good idea. And then we got back to the car, and it was a huge day.
What was the vert?
Okay, so my watch tells me one thing, and then like if you just take the measurement of the Grand, the middle, and the south,
you always pick the one that's
different.
More.
Well, if you take the one that's more, then it's a whole lot more, because your watch will get all the undulations of the day.
So it's kind of off. Okay.
But then, like, if you just took the measurement, pure measurement, trailhead, Grand, lower saddle, middle, then it's a bit different. But
and I interrupted. What were the two different numbers?
Oh, I feel like it was like on my watch, it was 19,000 feet.
Oh, whoa.
But that was because we're going up and down, up and down, up and down. But then if you take it, the numbers, subtract and add and whatever math stuff, then it's probably around 10, because the Grand is 7, and then you probably climb up. Yeah, it's a huge day.
That's
no doubt.
Massive day.
Yeah, but yeah, and stacking that on top of like the 2 days before doing it and ski boot, whatever. It was freaking mega. Which then leads us to the spring.
Yeah, we got to unpin.
Yeah, unpin my adrenal fatigue.
Yeah, I've never heard of this. Tell me everything.
Well, I went so hard that season that I got to the spring and I just was so tanked. I would be overly nervous for things that I would feel totally normal. I would drive into the national park to go park for a summer run or a climb and like almost be in tears, because my body knew that every time I drove to the park, I was about to do something really scary.
Ooh.
And so I just was like really tired. I couldn't get out of it. And I'm like a pretty energetic person. I wake up in the morning, every single morning. I wake up out of bed, I get a good night's sleep, and I'm like, I'm ready to conquer the day. And I'm ready to just like do something extraordinary and fun. But like I would wake up and just be like, whoa, I'm so tired. And I couldn't get out of it. Like I tried everything. And it was just that I think my nervous system had been on overdrive for so long. And then I needed to like actually rest. So then I did. And I rested, and then I slowly worked back into things that were more and more intense and more intense. And then I kind of got over it. But it really did take a long time. And I think when your nervous system is kind of in fight or flight, or perceived fight or flight, it's not good. I'm all about getting out of your comfort zone and pushing yourself. But there's maybe sometimes when I overdo it. I'm not perfect. I do this shit all the time on accident.
I'm sure you overdo it a lot, Madison. And that is interesting. My wife had something similar a few years ago. She had a really stressful, she's a business leader. She had a really stressful year of business, essentially. And then she went on a ski trip with her friends to Crested Butte, and she was terrified to ride a chairlift. She felt like she was going to fall off. She had fear of heights. And it lasted, same thing, it lasted for months. She was like freaked out. And I think was something similar, like just overstressed, that fight or flight feeling. And then at the end of that, you're just like, hey, I And it was a while. Like she had a hard time riding chairlifts. And this is someone who skis all the time. So super weird.
It's like definitely a real thing. And I definitely have probably talked to other women that have experienced similar things to this. But yeah, it's like, it's pretty gnarly on your body to be like high adrenaline, high cortisol, high dopamine, high whatever, all these like crazy hormones in your brain. I'm sure she was totally experiencing that, having like stressful work stuff. It's the same. That's why I was also like perceived stress. Like it could be a breakup. It could be literally anything causing you stress in your mind to race. And oh gosh, yeah, it'll make you tired.
No question. Well, I'll tell you what else will make you tired is the Teton picnic. I think you have the fastest known time on this, some category. That's awesome. So you got to just tell us what is it, and then what was your experience?
Wow. Okay. I have the fastest known time supported for women.
That's awesome. And congratulations.
Thank you. I would like to also say, okay, I'm going to say the story and then I'm going to tell you this other crazy badass thing. So the picnic is kind of like a made up triathlon here in the Tetons. So pretty much what you do. And it's gotten so popular. Like people are doing this thing all the time now.
Wow. I'll never do it. It's too hard.
Oh, I think you would crush it. You could do it as a fun thing, and you would just, you would.
Well, let's hear what it is exactly first.
Okay, so you start at Town Square, and you bike
in Jackson, Wyoming.
In Jackson, Wyoming, Town Square, famous antler arches. You start in Town Square, Cowboy Bar, right there. And then you bike to Jenny Lake Boat Ramp, which is like 25 miles. Then you put your wetsuit on, you swim across the lake at 1.5 or 1.2. I can't remember exactly how long it is. It's
a long swim.
It's a long swim, especially if you're not a swimmer like me. And then you run from the boat ramp over on Jenny Lake to Lupin Meadows Trailhead, and then you go up the Grand. You free solo the Grand. You get to the summit. You run all the way back down, back to the boat ramp. Then you swim back across the lake another 1.2, and then you bike back 25 miles. It's become a lot more popular. I decided one year that I was just going to try to do it really, really fast. I didn't tell anyone I was going to go for the fastest time, but I looked at the fastest time and I was like, I wonder if I could beat that. So I'm going to train. Plus, sometimes I create enemies in my head, even if it's like my friend. And one time Jim told me I was a shitty swimmer, and so I was like, oh, I'm going to show you. So then I really had it in my head that I was going to crush this out of the water. And he was so proud of his like picnic. Oh, I did it in 18 hours, whatever. I was like, I'm tired of this bullshit. So I've got to create not necessarily enemies, but like fun competition. I'm so competitive, so I just was like, I'm gonna do this fast as hell. So I asked my friends to come support me, and I had people all along the way. Like Jim paced me on the Grand. I had friends in the water paddleboarding so I didn't drown.
Nice. And
then my buddy Steven bike on the way back with me. So it ended up being a super fun day, but also like really challenging and not something that I want to do ever again, because I actually hate swimming, and honestly I don't really like biking either, but it was fun.
And people don't know, humans get tired exponentially. So if you know X squared, you don't just get tired linearly. It's like, and I'm this tired now, and then I can see an exact straight line. I'm going to be that tired later. No, you start your tiredness ramps up. You can't imagine what that swim and bike home were like.
Oh, they were miserable. It was miserable. I was just so happy to have my friends there. Yeah, I was so gassed. My feet hurt. I was sweating. There was like 1,000 people on the trail that day that I had to be like, excuse me. And I'm just so tired.
Right.
And yeah, it's an insane thing. I think I did it in like 11 hours and 45 minutes or something.
Whoa, that's wild.
Here's the best part about it, okay?
Damn.
The best part about it is I'm hyped. I'm like, I did this. I feel accomplished. Great. Literally 2 weeks later, this chick, Jen Day, she's like on Strava. She crushes. She's a mother from Salt Lake City, Utah, and she's a mother of 5, okay? And I've seen her Strava segments, and I'm like, this chick's badass. I don't know who she is, but she's really fast. And I've seen her time on the Grand, and like, I'm not a runner. I love running. I consider myself a 4-season athlete, but like my primary focus is skiing. I just love climbing. I love trad climbing. I love sport climbing. I love mountain running. I love traveling in the mountains. This chick comes in and absolutely just crushes my time. Like, no. Yes. And not only does she crush my time, I think by like an hour or something.
Wow.
But which I was just like, how did she do that? I have no idea. She does it unsupported. So along the way, I had friends like cheering me on. She just does it alone. And I'm like, how the hell? So then I'm just so fired up because I'm like, damn, this chick rips. Also, she's a mother of 5. That's really badass. And hopefully I can be like her if I ever decide to be a mom, because she's absolutely kicking butt. And like, she went and did that on the Whirl too in Salt Lake. Like, just she's
did
really
the Whirl
badass.
also. Oh gosh, that thing looks evil.
Yeah, totally. And then I met her, I think, for the first real time. She found me at Lupin Meadows Trailhead this summer, and she's like, Madison, I'm such a big fan. I'm like, no, dude, I'm a fan of you. you are amazing. Like, you crushed it. Yeah. Wow. So anyways, the best part about the story is that happened afterward. And I'm kind of in the spotlight as a skier, and people were like, wow, so amazing picnic. But like, this chick fucking crushed me. It was awesome. And I think it's so important to support other women. And also, like, you hope that when you do something that's awesome, whether it's a backflip on skis like these young women are doing now, or you go do a picnic, something that's out of your comfort zone, that like it just continues to push the needle forward and be like, okay, then this chick came and just like crushed me. Now hopefully someone comes and crushes her. And then maybe crush isn't the right word. It's very masculine. But like, yeah, just like elevating, because we're so capable of so much. And it's amazing to just see how friendly competition is just so fun, I think.
I agree. And I think the inspiration that you folks provide is huge. I mean, definitely what you and Jim do inspires me. And I really, even after I had my podcast with Jimmy, I started doing like more training. He's like, well, I do this.
Sick.
He's like, I lift a bunch of weights and then go for an hour run a day. It's like, well, so I started doing that. My run was like its zone 2, super slow, but it was way out.
So was his.
Yeah, well, good. It was way out of my comfort zone. And nothing I'd ever done before. And I did it for me, I did it for a while. I did it for like 6 weeks before I left for my next trip. And I think it really helped. And I'm curious, what does your training routine look like? Because I know that you train way too hard.
Yeah, probably sometimes a little too hard. Probably why I'm sick. I honestly love it. I think you have to love it. You have to love what you do. And a reflection I've had recently is like continue to make what you do really fun. And that goes to training as well. Or it could go to like cooking. Make cooking fun, because you have to do it. It's fun. And so training, I like to keep fun. In the summer, I want to climb all these mountains. I want to be out with really amazing people. And then for the fitness side, I mean, shit, I'm a ski racer at heart. Like, I love weight training. It's a different kind of endorphin release to feel so strong and capable in your body. Like, I can do anything I set my mind to. Is a great feeling. And so in the summers, it's a lot of trail running and climbing, but also like prioritize weight training and to have a lot of things to do. Maybe wake up and you're like, I want to go rollerblading, or wake up and I'm going to go for a mountain bike ride, even though I don't like mountain biking, but I ran for the last 3 days and now my legs are trashed. Being able to like change it up, I think, is really important, and diversify what you do. And I need to do that more. I need to remind myself to do this more next season, because sometimes injuries come up when you only are doing one thing. And so I really kind of try to feel how my body is feeling every morning when I wake up, and okay, how do I feel? Like, is it a day for strength training, or is it a day for running or intervals or whatever it may be? Yeah, I really love training. Sometimes I probably overdo it, but I think I also like have this need where I'm like, oh, I need my body to be strong so that people know not to fuck with me. And that comes from stuff I'm working in therapy, I guess, but probably part of it is that.
Well, that was true vulnerability. I appreciate that, Madison. That was great.
Thanks.
All right. Well, if skiing disappeared tomorrow, there was no more skiing, what would you do?
I'd be a rock star.
Ooh. And so we got to just segue right into, I loved your song that you posted the other day on social media. My foot was I actually got stuck in my head. But tell me, I had a great hook. I had no idea that singing was a part of your life. You have a great voice. Tell us about where did this start and where is it going?
Wow, thank you. I really appreciate that.
You're
I'm glad
welcome.
It was catchy. Tapping your foot. That's what we want. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So I released an album of music a month ago. I recorded it last fall, and I wrote the songs like anywhere from 2 years ago to 6 years ago. And so it took a while for me to publish it because I was procrastinating it. But I will say music for me is I need to do it more even when I can move my body, but through injury, it's been really helpful. Processing breakups, obviously, because a lot of the songs are pretty much just like, you broke my heart, here's why I'm sad, but like make it catchy a little. So anyways, it's really good for me to like process all of my emotions and put them to words and communicate in that way. And then sharing that with other people and friends that are so talented is really fun and amazing. But I think it's funny, like, all the songs are kind of old and I wrote them so long ago that I'm like, okay, I'm glad I just got it out there, and I can just be happy about that as a time in my life that I can remember, and then I can move forward and make new songs that I'm really stoked on or more stoked on or whatever. But at a time, all of those songs, I was really stoked on them at one point or another. And so just getting it finished and completed, for me, I'm just like happy that I did it. Now it's out there. I completed this creative thing, and now I can like move on and move forward and keep on going with more music.
Where can people find your music?
Anywhere, really. I think on Spotify maybe is the easiest. I use Spotify, but
just
I think
look
it's
up
on
your
Apple
name,
Music
or
too.
do you have a band name?
Nope, just Madison Rose, actually, on
Great.
Spotify.
Perfect. Cool. We'll look it up.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
I thought that was really cool. I had no idea. So it's always impressive. It's almost frustrating, honestly, when people have multiple talents. I'm not supportive
it's just
sometimes.
fun.
Yeah. No, but I was like, God damn it, you're kidding me. She sings great and writes these songs. So yeah, very cool. So yeah, I hope that people look up those songs and check it out. Sort of thinking about being a pro skier and how that happens. I mean, I'm sure you get those questions all the time, but I am curious of one angle. Do women skiers and snowboarders face different pressures, do you think, when it comes to brand deals, images, being in ski movies, the whole package?
Yeah, dude. I mean, there's so many layers to that. I don't even know if we can get into all of it. It's like, to be a guy right now, you better be really freaking good on the Freeride World Tour. And even if you're on the Freeride World Tour, you better be doing really radical shit. Or you're just like not going to make it in that space. Or you need to be really niche, and you have to have your own niche, be really good at a certain thing. Ski mountaineering, free ride, half pipe, whatever it is. Just like own it, hone in on that. I think that the field is really competitive, and like men's skiing is super crazy. I don't know how they do what they do. It's super impressive.
That's nuts.
That being said, I think that that's happening with women as well. It's like really cool and inspiring to see a lot of young women elevating the sport and pushing boundaries and pushing the limit, and that's also really inspiring. But I guess if you're talking like a business side, I think it is a little bit different. I think women can put different stuff on social media, and guys feel weird putting that kind of thing. A guy isn't gonna be like, here's my makeup tutorial for when I go skiing, but a chick could totally pull that off and maybe have more opportunities for content. But if you're a dude, okay, so here's the thing, here's the deal. It feels like social media nowadays is like, either sometimes you're watching it and it's like dudes getting hurt or hot chicks. That is like what Instagram just like likes to give you. And so you're like, okay, that's the freaking algorithm, and it constantly changes, but generally a lot of times it's that, or it has been like that. So I don't know, of course there's going to be differences in business with men and women. My biggest advice, because I have always been someone that's just like, I don't need to say, oh, I'm Madison, I'm a woman and I'm a skier. I'm just like, no, I am who I am. I'm going to do what I like to do. And hopefully that inspires guy or gal. Like, of course I want to inspire the young women, but also like, just do you. Be you, and find what you want to do and how you want to show up, and find your people, because then you can be more authentically yourself and you'll attract the right people to you, and the brands will support you, but you got to just like own yourself. I think that is like the biggest part of it, is you got to have like a certain kind of style if you're a skier. Like, you always remember different skiers back in the day with super sick style, and that could be Glenn Plake, who just like is so himself and absolutely freaking crazy and wild and mohawk and just awesome skier. But you remember that shit because you're like, wow, he's just like out there. That's badass, you know, and that inspires a lot of people. And he's also an amazing skier. But I think just being yourself is maybe the most important thing. But yeah, I think that sport is just getting elevated constantly, and it's inspiring to watch.
And how did it happen for you? Was there a moment, is there a moment in time? You mentioned that 2-page spread and free skier that you got when you went to Europe and shot with all the big dogs. But was it something else? Was there a moment you're like, oh, wow, I'm going to be a pro skier now?
No, there was no defining moment because I probably, as classic me, was like, I want this, got that goal, did it, already had another goal, went and did it, got it, still wasn't satisfied, got another goal, and like was never like, I just wanted to keep going. So I don't know if there's even, I can't even think of one where I was like, oh no, I made it. I still, I remember Jim being like, Mads, you've made it, you've done, you don't need to like do this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, oh no, I'm still gonna go. And like, that's a positive and a negative. If you never are satisfied, you're never gonna be satisfied, and you're going to be disappointed in yourself, or maybe it pushes you too far. But if you're just like, oh, I'm chilling, like I don't really care, then like maybe you don't elevate to the level that you could possibly be. So it's a hard thing because you want to be content, right, with what you've done and what you've accomplished. And I do feel that in a lot of ways. But I also feel like, I don't know if there was a time where I'm, oh no, that's my breakout moment, or like that was kind of it. I feel like I've just been like on the grind. I don't know, like you can't stop grinding. I feel like I grew up in a world where it was like you have to work really hard to get what you want. I just haven't really stopped because I kind of love what I do. I know I love what I do. I freaking love it. I have the best job in the world. I'm supported by amazing people. I'm surrounded by amazing people. I get to talk to people like you, you're fucking amazing.
Oh,
and
I think you're amazing.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fun gig. It's so fun. And it's important to remember that even when you're feeling like shit some days, or like, you have the negative words in your head, whatever. So just find what fuels you, and hopefully that's from within yourself. Or, sometimes it's like the mean stuff that someone said, and you're like, oh, I'm going to use that as fuel. You told me I was never going to make it. Watch me, like I've definitely used that as fuel as well. So I'm not saying that doesn't work, but there's probably other ways that you can continue to fuel yourself. And I'm finding that out as I'm getting a little older.
I like earlier when you said, and you're sort of repeating it, that you can even make up somebody to get angry at or to motivate you. And it's like, oh yeah, well, if you think that about me, then I'm going to go do this. You know who really did that a lot was Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan used to say, totally. He would even say things in the press like, oh, that guy Ron, he said this thing about me, and I'm going to freaking crush him tonight. And the guy Ron was like, I didn't say anything, bro. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. And the guy really didn't say anything. But Jordan would like make up mean stuff that people thought or did or said about him, and it would motivate him, and he would obviously destroy. Basically, shit works.
It does, and I love Michael Jordan. I also love that documentary. It is really amazing. I remember watching it and being like, The Last Dance, on Netflix. It's so good. It's just cool to see kind of the behind the scenes of everything. But I do remember that part of it. And I was like, dude, I totally do that. I didn't know that I did that. And it definitely works. But then the hard part about that is like, okay, you got to when you're in kind of risky situations in the mountains, you do have to make sure that you're doing what you're doing, not for a film, not because someone said you couldn't, but because you really want to be there. So
yeah, that's one thing I've learned. I never tell people what they cannot do, because when people tell me I can't do something, oh man, it's like
it's going down.
Like nothing can stop me at that point. So I kind of love it when people say like, oh, you're washed up, or you can't do this, or this is outside your reach. It's like, oh man, now my whole life is going to be training to do that, just so that I can break through that. So and you probably get that too, And so
oh my God, yeah.
It's really helpful, and that's why I never do it to other people, especially if it's somebody that I feel competitive with. I'm like, I'm not going to tell that person they can't do something, because I know what that does to me.
It's going to feel
I know. I was like, I'm not going to give you that. That's not for you. I'm going to keep that from me. Yeah.
It's a really good tool. It's a really good tool of manipulation.
And then and you can see how you kind of do that to yourself sometimes. So it's like, so did Michael Jordan. I know I've done it, and so it's something to be thought about, and talk to your therapist about it. They probably know more. Who inspires you outside of skiing?
Wow, a lot of people. A lot of my friends that I'm around here in Jackson inspire me, because everyone brings like different stuff to the table. Like, I'm inspired by my friend Hannah, who I play music with. She's an amazing listener and hold such space and grace, and I just, different things and different people really inspire me. And I think that's a beautiful thing about friendships and knowing people, is you can get inspired just by like what someone said. But a lot of my friends, they really inspire me. They really push themselves in different ways. I said this on a podcast a little while ago, but I legit, like, in Jackson, my friend group, they could all be professional athletes if they didn't live in Jackson, but because we live in Jackson and everyone does really hard shit, like, it's just unfortunate. But I think that's why we all like hang out and do what we do. But there's a lot of people that I'm inspired by that I follow on social media that don't do ski stuff and do like super fast skimo or climbers, or I try to be inspired every day by something, or try to look at the world in a little different way, and hopefully be a positive role model or positive friend or person in the world. So, yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. And my last question is technical, involves chemistry, physics, a lot of combustion. It's important. And so what is your go-to recovery meal after a huge day in the mountains?
Oh, a burger.
Oh, nice. Burger and fries, a beer, what?
Yeah, no, I don't drink, but I will definitely go for
neither.
a burger and fries. And I also really love mochi. Like, I'm obsessed with mochi. I have like 7 things of mochi. It's like the little Japanese like ice cream balls that you can like hold in your hand. They nailed it. The Japanese nailed it with this thing. It's so good. Ice cream, freaking burger and french fries is kind of the best. Fried chicken sandwich, so good.
And if you're in Jackson, where do you go for that?
Okay, well, Sweet Cheeks, the deli, has a really good burger, but it closes at 3 or whatever, so you got to go there before that. Fried chicken sandwich at Sidecar Base Camp over in Wilson at the gas station. So good. And then Local also has a good burger.
Local does have a good burger. I've done that at least.
Yeah.
Nice, Madison. Well, I'm going to let you go so you can take care of your runny nose and your from overexerting yourself at the TGR premiere this week. So that's all I got for you. Do you have anything else you'd like to share here at the end of the show?
Oh, I'm just so appreciative. Thanks for like all the awesome questions and candid conversation. And it's nice to connect with you. I feel like I haven't ever really gotten to talk to you, so it's really cool. And there'll be a time when I can just ask you a bunch of questions. Maybe I should host a podcast. You
absolutely should, because you're good at this. And I've skied a little bit with Jimmy. So so like, when I'm in Jackson, I'll ping you guys. And if you're around, let's go.
Please do.
Yeah, let's go ski a groomer.
I know. I see you around and I'm like, we got to like actually hang. Okay, cool. Amazing. I'm into it.
I am too. So, well, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time and energy. Thank you so much, Madison. I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.
Thank you so much for listening to the SnowBrains podcast. If you liked this podcast, please share with friends and family, and please be sure to subscribe. To find out more about SnowBrains, please visit us at snowbrains.com. You can also find us on Instagram, X, Facebook, and more. This episode of the SnowBrains podcast was edited by Liam Abbott, and I'm your host, Miles Clark.